welcome back. Now, before the break, we started our main dish of oven-roasted lamb shank with mashed potato. And now we're about to put the finishing touches to this magnificent dish. Now, Chef, take it away.
Yay! So we've got a nice warm pot, which is what we need for our vegetables.
Yeah.
Tumi, do you mind chopping up this rosemary for us?
Yes, Chef.
And then you pop. Oh, that's nice and loud, just like the kitchen.
Yes.
I like that.
I remember
I'll pop
about
that
those
down.
days sometimes when you're
do
in
you
the
miss them
kitchen
at all?
and you're sweating. I'm not going to say I miss them. I do not miss them at all. There's nothing as great
The
as
onions, please.
Your onions as well. But Palesa, you would not, a chef would not acknowledge that you've done something unless you said yes, chef.
Yes.
So
Wait.
if the chef has said, Palesa,
Yeah.
move the butter to the left. If you don't say yes, chef, he's not moving until you say yes, chef. Acknowledge me.
Wait, okay,
Yeah.
so this is something that I thought only happened in the movies.
No.
South Africa, let me know at home. I always just thought that, you know, you guys are just trying to make us scared and, you know, the
No,
pressure in the kitchen.
not at
This
all.
is a real thing.
It's a real thing. There are only 3 commands in a kitchen. Yes, chef, no chef, and yes, chef.
Well, I'm here for it, and we're saying yes, yes, yes
There
to the
we
recipe
go.
today, and I'm so here for it. Inside your pot, Chef, you've already put some of those vegetables that Tumi
Yes.
has already chopped up for us. If you can just recap for the viewers.
So in the pot, we now have our onions, carrots, celery, and garlic. Those are the main ingredients which will be the base for our sauce or our gravy for our shanks to cook in. If the viewers can have a look and see, the lamb shanks are nicely browned and nice. There are bits that are very nicely caramelized, if you can see on there.
Yeah.
And that's now obviously, as Tumi had mentioned before, to lock in the flavor. So it keeps the juices from running out, and it makes sure that we have a good tender shank as well.
Delicious. My mouth is watering already. Coming to the mashed potato, you know, just mashing away. I've been mashing. I'm going to add now my butter, and then I'm going to go into the fridge in a bit to get the cream. In fact, you know what? There's no time like the present. Let me go grab that cream.
Oh, yeah.
While you do that, Palesa, I just want to touch on something about your recipe here, Chef, that we make
Yes.
lamb shank. And a lot of recipes like this, these hearty winter recipes, autumn recipes, the one thing I love about them is you get to bring in those hard herbs,
Yes.
like your rosemaries and your thyme. Because a lot of people tend to get it wrong sometimes, where you want to use one of the lighter herbs like a parsley from the beginning. All that does is that you cook it out, and it defeats the purpose of using that herb. Those are better when you add it at the top, at the end, you know, once you've done the cooking. But these harder herbs, like the rosemaries, the thyme, the reason for them is that as you cook, they release the flavor, you know, and your dish, whatever dish you're making, just absorbs all that goodness in there. So those are the kind of herbs I would suggest you use if you're going to be making a stew or a recipe like this, which just, it smells amazing.
And there's an ongoing debate about what's the difference between flavoring and seasoning. Do you know the difference?
Well, you're going to answer that for us, right? That's why we
I
brought
got
you here.
no clue. I thought this was like just a potato, if anyone says potato.
Yeah, well, you know, the difference, the debate has been going on for years and years and years, and I believe it was like Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay that started this years ago. So flavoring would happen in the beginning of your cooking process. So by me adding the rosemary and the garlic in the beginning of the cooking process, that would be flavoring. Seasoning would happen at the end, whereas you would use things like salt and pepper. The wine would also be classified as flavoring within your cooking process.
This does not in any way refer to the seasoning of a cast iron pan or a cast iron utensil that you use in the kitchen. So there is another kind of seasoning. You know your cast iron pans, Palesa, instead of, do not wash them, you season them with oil, where you just brush them with oil. We're not talking about that kind of seasoning. We're talking about, well, not flavor, I almost said flavor. Not that kind.
It almost can get a bit confusing, but I love the fact that you're breaking down the differences here, because essentially we want to take our flavor profile to that very next level this winter season. Well, autumn/winter, I mean, we're quite well into autumn already.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Definitely.
So over here into my mashed potato, I've already added the butter, South Africa, and now I'm going to go in with my cream. Now, tell me how much cream goes into mashed potato?
My darling, the one thing I love about mash is that you can make it as much however you like. Most people like to strain it, where you get it nice and very smooth. In this instance, I'd say just about 2 tablespoons. You don't want a lot, because we want it to be the base of our lamb shank. We don't want it to be too runny. We want it to hold and hug the flavor of that sauce that we're going to put on there. If it's too mashed and it's too smooth, it looks beautiful, I won't lie. But the thing about it is it just goes all over the plate and we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want it to be like a
You want it to be nice and firm.
Absolutely. That seems almost like something that you'd prepare for the younger ones in the family, the babies, the kids, those that maybe not have developed their teeth as strongly. Then it can be as smooth or as / runny as you would like. But now we want something stiff and firm.
That's correct.
Okay. Chef, how's it going that side? You're
Everything's
onto your
going
tomato
well.
paste.
I'm going to be adding tomato paste to our vegetables that have been sauteed nicely here. And once this has been cooked through, we'll add the wine.
Okay. Now, Chef, when it comes as well, because you were mentioning the flavoring and seasoning thing and the fact that, you know, Dumi, to not cook out the flavor of parsley or anything, we always need to add it at different times. Is that then sometimes when you're sitting at a 5-star restaurant and you're enjoying your food, you're like, oh, but the flavor is popping. Is that essentially what that is?
Yes.
It's just because it's all about timing and putting in things at that right time.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Has it gone up?
I just turned it down a little bit. We almost, I know it's hot in the kitchen, but that's not the kind of hot we want.
Definitely. I think it's safe to say my mashed potato is done. But now the real question is, will it get Chef's 10 out of 10 rating? I mean, I have been doing this since 10 years old, which makes 20 years of mashed potato.
That makes you a pro.
I'd like that.
Well,
and goes
I
in
think
the
you're missing the chives, right? I need to give you your chives here.
Definitely, I want that green color.
Yeah, and I think I want to add a bit more, Balisa, because I think the mashed potatoes look amazing. But the one thing that fresh herbs does is that it adds flavor, yes, but it also adds that beautiful color.
Yeah, I've gone ahead.
No,
I've gone ahead and made a mess here in the kitchen, but they always say that if you're not making a mess, you're not having fun, and we're all having fun in this kitchen today. So I'm not even shy about it, just like
You reminded me of the times when Bushok was in the kitchen cooking with me. I always have to, I'm cooking in like defense mode, okay? No, wait, okay, no, not that side. I understand, but it's okay, it happens. It's the kitchen.
We all make mistakes.
Now, Robin, if you don't even know who Bushokwa is, that is Dumi's 4-year-old boy, and listen, he is a tyrant. So you know what? But a tyrant that we all love. So if this is reminding you of him, I don't mind it. How are you going with that? So you're about to add
So we've
stock?
added our lamb shanks now. Now we'll add our beef stock. So beef stock essentially is made and cooked for 8 hours, a minimum of 8 hours, made with some good meaty beef bones that you can obviously find from your local butcher. You roast those off nicely until they're nicely golden brown. And then we basically start with the same process of onions, celery, carrots, rosemary, thyme, garlic, and we cook those with wine as well for, like I said, for a minimum of 8 hours. It releases the flavor, and you want a slow release of that flavor and get everything out of the bones, as much out of the bones as possible. So yeah, we've got some good beef stock. We'll add that to our lamb shank to make sure that we cover it nicely.
Now, this is quite a protein-heavy dish.
Yes.
So this would be good for people who are trying to, you know, add the gains in the gym, bodybuilders, and those people who are just trying to, you know, bulk up and make sure that all the nutrition that they need within their protein is taken care of. When it comes to now making sure that this is cooked all the way through, how do we do that? And is there such a thing as overcooking your lamb?
Depends what cut of lamb it is.
Okay.
Lamb shank essentially is a matter of where once you'll know it's done once it falls off the bone. So once the meat releases itself from the bone, that's when you know that it's done. So it's very hard. I mean, my mom always asks, "So Robin, I'm going to cook pork belly. How long do I cook it for?" And I'm like, "Mom, I can't say. How big is your pork belly? You know, you can't really put a time onto something. So you need to gauge in terms of the weight itself of the meat and like if it's on a bone or not on a bone, and then you can work from there."
Chef?
Yes.
Awesome stuff. So we're going to put that into the oven, but we've got some that we also prepared a little earlier. Can I ask you just to take it out and dish it up here so South Africa can see this amazing dish that you've made for us? Well, I mean, I can't wait to try it, Balisa. I'm already smelling all those herbs that we put in there, the rosemary. I'm smelling that wine that actually cooked out, but it actually gets absorbed into that meat. I can't wait for you to put it in here, Chef, just so everyone can
voila,
see.
We've got some cooked lamb shank.
This looks incredible. The color that you spoke about is definitely popping within the gravy, which I am so here for. You first eat with your eyes, right? So this is what that is all about. Lamb shank, tick. We've got our salad as well. And then we're also going to be creating something incredibly sweet. Wow.
1,
Oof.
2, and A third one, the biggest one, is for you, Palesa.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Okay, and then what we could do is say...
Well, as we are topping off that gravy onto the mash and the lamb chak, we're one dish away from ending this absolutely mouth-watering meal. Coming up, we put a sweet ending to an already tummy-hugging menu. See you after these.
There you go.